If you're happy, we'll get started. If I do some intros to begin with, we'll keep bringing people in as they try to join. So thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate it. Just to do some introductions. So this evening we're going to be going, well, say that loosely. Gemma is going to be going through the DBS process and giving a bit more insight into Know Your People and everything that you have to go through when you're trying to do a DBS for someone within your club or within your league. Just to introduce some of the other people. So for those of you that haven't met me, I'm Vicky. I'm the main person that deals with safeguarding at the county FA, but there's a few of us that are also quite heavily involved. So also from Staffordshire FA, we've got John McGurr and we've got George Taylor. So I'm sure if any of you have been emailing in or phoning in with any queries, the likelihood is you've spoken to one of those two. So on behalf of all of us at Staffs FA, thank you for joining the call. Gemma, just to give a bit of the intros that I know about Gemma. So she's the National Safeguarding Administrator based up at West Riding. Am I right? Got that right? Yep. Okay. Yep. And you've been there a few years now, haven't you, since the inception of this? How many years are you on now?
4 years now. 4 years. 4 long years.
So with that, I'm going to hand over to Gemma. I think she's got a presentation to do. If you've got any questions for us as county staff after, we'll stay on for a little bit. But yeah, with that in mind, Gemma, over to you.
Fab. Thank you for that, Vicky. So I hope everyone can see my screen. So as Vicky said, I'm Gemma. I work for the National Safeguarding team. I'm going to go through our full presentation in terms of introducing you to the team, what we do, but just cover off just a few little things regarding the actual content of the call today. And then we're going to ask for you to any questions, if we can keep them till the end, and you can ask me anything that you want answering, and I can see if I can do my best in order to answer them all. So first of all, thank you for everyone that has attended tonight. Can I ask that just for the part of the presentation, if we keep microphones muted, just to make sure that we can get through the full content, and also because we will be sharing some videos that hopefully will help you at a later date be able to complete DBS applications with anyone at your club. Like I said, there'll be a dedicated question and answer session at the end where you can ask me anything in relation to DBS inquiries, but also safeguarding qualifications. So specifically for a club, that will be safeguarding children qualification. We have a chat box function that's available throughout the session, so I'm sure Vicky will keep an eye on it. So if you've got any questions throughout and you don't want to speak up at the end, just drop a little message in there and we'll see if we can answer that as well. And as Vicky's already said, the session will be recorded, so you can always make sure that if you want to turn off your cameras, that's absolutely fine if you prefer. And then any questions, again, just leave it till the end and we can see what we can do for you. So in terms of the content of the workshop, today we're going to go through the introduction to myself and the actual team, so the non-compliance team for the FA, non-compliance communications, so what communications sent out to any coaches that are due to expire for both their safeguarding children qualification and also their DBS. How a club can start a DBS in terms of from the beginning, how you initiate a DBS application. Completing a DBS application either for yourself or for one of your coaches. Verifying a DBS on the KYP system. So when we say KYP, it's Know Your People. And then ID best practices. So in order for you to be able to self-verify and able to process a DBS application, what are the best forms of ID in order to make sure that you can do your DBS application where it's self-service? How we would add verifiers and verifying a DBS if you are the club welfare officer. And then the new stages of DBSs. So what it will look like in your club portal in terms of what application stage a club coach is at. How to initiate a DBS and if there's no email on the system. And if a DBS application has been withdrawn, what to do. And then at the back end of it, any useful links and contact details in order for you to be able to contact us or any team at the FA or First Advantage KYP to be able to help with any applications that you've got. And again, any other questions? Now, in terms of introducing you to the team, it's a small team that we've got. So it's myself and my two girls that support me, which is Ella and Shannon, and we make up the National Safeguarding Team for the FA. We support 44 counties in total in order to helping our community and volunteers to be able to attain their DBS qualifications and keep them in date. How we reach out to our correspondents is basically on a monthly basis. So we send out correspondence to any one of your coaches that is listed on FA Club Portal, and that's important, listed against a team on FA Club Portal in an active role, so assigned to a team. When someone is assigned to a team, it means that they need the 2 minimum qualifications of an in-date DBS and a Safeguarding Children qualification. When a coach is due to expire, then we will send out communication from our National Safeguarding Team on email directly to the coach. And in that, we alert them to the fact that their DBS or Safeguarding Children qualification is coming up to expiry. We ask them at different points to be able to use the links within the email in order to complete either their DBS or Safeguarding Children qualification. Now, we reach out to them at 3 months prior to expiry, 2 months and 1 month prior to expiry, and that goes directly to the individual that we've got. Once they're getting closer to a DBS or the Safeguarding Children qualification expiring, we reach out to them 2 weeks and 1 week prior to expiry. At this point, the Club Welfare Officer will be CC'd into the email. So that is then alerting the Club Welfare Officer, whose main day-to-day job will be to ensure that the qualifications are in place for the coaches within their club. So we notify them to say that we're aware that this coach is coming up and expiring for their DBS or Safeguarding Children qualification. At expiry, we then send out another notification again to the individual and to the Club Welfare Officer, just again to notify them that they are now non-compliant. And we do at this point quote suspension. So we quote suspension. So from an FA point of view, the policies that have been signed off by the NSPCC is that if a coach is non-compliant and the minimum requirements are an in-date DBS and Safeguarding Children qualifications, it tells us if the coach has not done their qualification or kept them in date, then maybe the culture's not right in terms of prioritising safeguarding to the highest importance. If we're contacting them at expiry, we'll quote a suspension, and we don't suspend the coach, we suspend the team. So we suspend the team because our priority is to ensure that the children that are directly in activity with the adult, so as the coach on a regular basis, we need to make sure that coach definitely does have the qualifications. The team is suspended until we're happy that the behaviour and that the priority of safeguarding is put in place as top priority. Once they've attained their actual qualifications and DBS, then a suspension will be lifted. That says at day 2, but at day 21, so exceeding 21 days of non-compliance, that is when we will notify the county to suspend the team if no action is being taken. But we do have 3 more notifications. So once they expire, we send out an email at expiry 1 week, expiry 2 week, expiry 3 weeks. And that's when we then confirm again to the Club Welfare Officer and to the individual that their qualification has expired, and we will issue a suspension if the action's not completed. At day 1 past expiry, you're handed over to the county FA, which they will then issue a suspension and inform the leagues of the suspension. Now, in terms of how to start a DBS, now for anyone that is existing in role, so the coaches that we are corresponding out to, we ask that they start their DBS as much as 3 months prior, because sometimes some DBSs can take a period of time in order for them to go through and make sure they are accepted by the FA. Now we've moved on to KYP, which is Know Your People with First Advantage, and that enables us to self-verify DBS applications, which hopefully is a smoother process for the individual. So someone will be able to issue the link and then complete their application, and their application can go off for background checks within 24 hours. I'm going to play you a series of videos, and those videos are what we're able to do in order to start a DBS off. So as a club, you would start your DBS off through FA Club Portal, and that is this one. So I'm now going to play you a little video which will then talk you through how to start DBSs.
Gemma, should there be any sound with this?
Yeah.
Still nothing yet, Gemma.
Can you not hear anything?
No.
Can you not hear anything at all? No.
No. When you went to share your screen, did you do the tick box thing to say to allow sound?
Yeah. That's fine. So if you can't hear it, let me just have a little look and see if I can do it on this one. No worries. So what I'm going to do is I will talk you through it and then you tell me if you're able to hear it. Is that okay? Yep, that's fine. So how you initiate a DBS on the new FA system, you would do this by a club or a county FA, and you would do this directly on FA Club Portal. So at this point, you would then list on Club Portal, you would then go to FA Club Portal and Officials. Click on the Safeguarding tab and then the Start DBS tab at the side. This will bring the individuals up on their application to say that search for them, and then you will get a list of coaches in order for you to start a DBS. At this point, you would then start the DBS from initiating the example that's on here. The key part is that you check the email of the individual. If the email's not correct, then it will not start the DBS. Once the email is issued, they will get a notification which sends them directly to their email address. At this point, that's where they click on that link and then start their DBS application. If you're adding a new one, they would add a new person on by searching for them either by personal name or by fan number. And this is a new coach that's with the actual club. At this point, you'll get a list which will have your safeguarding tab at the bottom, and you select DBS applicant. When you select a DBS applicant, this will also add the official on there. So when you click that one, it will also give the link directly to the coach at this point to start their own DBS. As a club welfare officer, you can start your own DBS by clicking on My Account with the FA and then selecting Start DBS. All of those will initiate a DBS application email that will go directly to your email account, and then on your email account you select the button to do your full application in full. Does that make sense? So at the point when you've got your email, you would then need to start a DBS and complete the DBS application. So your coaches will complete the DBS application. You'll have this video, but again, I'll talk you through it on this one by clicking on the link that they've got in their email account. At this point, it'll allow them to self-verify, and this is for Know Your People. So the application will come from Know Your People. We recommend that they use a mobile phone device in order for them to do their application, and it will confirm that they would need to do it through KYP. Your initial details are all supplied when completing your application. Select complete. At this point, then you'll do a declaration to say that you're happy to do a DBS application, and then you click the tab and it'll take you through to the next step. You'll then get a verification notification from Yachty. Yachty is who will do your self-verification ID checks. At this point, you will upload and select the ID in order for you to use your to do your application. So you either select any ID that you've got. The most relevant ones and the fastest ones to use are driving license and passport. Against your ID, you'll then need to scan your face. So at this point, it will verify your ID by scanning your face against the ID that you've sent in, and then pay for the application. This should be able to help you do any DBS applications from beginning to end by yourself without any problems or anyone having to verify the ID, and your coaches should be able to do this. The main point of this one is that they would need to do on the phone is most ideal. It makes sure that the application goes through super fast, but also if they're able to then at that point, if it fails, they will then come to the club in order to verify the ID themselves. Now, once they've completed the DBS application, how you then verify is then the key part. So how you verify on Know Your People. So to verify these applications, it's super easy. All DBS applicants must now submit via Know Your People and not through the old FA system, so the FA First Advantage. No application submitted on FADV will pull through to FA systems. It's not a system that we use anymore. All applicants are eligible for self-verification, and that's where we ask these applicants to be able to do it. The only reason they might not be able to do it is that the ID doesn't quite meet the spec that we've got and that we're asking for to self-verify. The applicants are prompted to make a payment of £11. So all clubs are initially set up for the applicant to pay. And the reason why they are set up as the applicant to pay is that it would make the whole DBS process application a lot faster. When we do it as club to pay, then ultimately the application halts and they can't self-verify. So your club should be set up where they're not having to make the payment, but if you do pay for the application to DBS, it'd be a matter of a reimbursement back to the individuals. The cost of doing DBS application with the FA is £11. And at this point, then obviously they're able to submit it by their own bank details. If the application is not eligible for self-verification for a number of reasons, or if the process is unsuccessful, so when we say that, it's that their ID has not been photo-based. So if it's not a photo-based government ID, then it won't allow them to self-verify. It will fail. If it's been unsuccessful, it could also be the part that it's not been able to scan the individual's face, bad lighting, it can't recognise the ID against the person. At this point, they will be directed to contact their club welfare officer, so you guys, in order for you to verify the ID in person. The applicant noted at the time, so they're saying they're given the information to contact their club welfare officer to be able to verify. And then the club welfare officer will also get an email which actually will say that you need to verify ID. It's up to the club individual in order to come to the welfare officer though to prompt them to verify, and not you really to chase it. And a DBS is in the hands of the individual and not nobody else. The club officials that are authorised as verifiers are on Know Your People are automatically set up on Know Your People, and that's for anyone that's added into a key official role for the club under the FA Club portal. So the role of the club welfare officer, the club secretary, the club chairman and the club treasurer have all had access emails in order for them to set up their account with Know Your People. If you've not had those access emails, you can reach out and we can see if we can get you access again or send you another one. But ultimately, only those key officials will now have access to Know Your People to verify ID. The best practice in order for self-verification, and we direct all of our customers to be able to verify ID by doing it themselves, it would be recommended the 2 forms of ID in the priority group 1 that we've got. So a UK driving licence, a UK passport, a biometric residency permit, a UK birth certificate or adoption certificate. If you can select 2 forms of ID from that group 1, you have the best chance of being able to self-verify for your DBS application. If you don't have those forms of ID, it will automatically push you down the fact that you would need to get documents from your group 2, which is your bank or building society, utility bill, council tax statement and mortgage statement. At that point, you will have to verify as a verifier for the club, and the individual will have to come to you to get your ID verified. Now, I'm very aware that this video is you're not going to be able to hear the information again, but I'll talk you through just by seeing the video on the system. And these videos are going to be shared in the links afterwards as well, so you can watch them in your own time. But how to add a verifier and verifying a DBS. The simple case is, in order to add someone as a verifier, they're doing that by Club Portal. So adding the verifier means that you would go on to Club Portal and add someone into one of those key roles on FA Club Portal. So someone who is a key official, club welfare officer, club secretary, club treasurer, club chairman. Each one of these will then get an email in order for them to set up their account with Know Your People. Now, once they've done that, they can set on their accounts to be able to verify documents. To verify a document, you would then sign into your account and select My Tasks. When you select My Tasks, it will bring up any form of ID that needs to be verified for one of your applicants. When you click in the application, it will show you that ID needs to be verified, and as you scroll down, it will show you the ID that the individual has selected. They need to provide you the ID in person, and you're checking that information to make sure that it matches up. In order for it to work, you would then say confirm, it's absolutely fine. But if it's not the ID that's been selected at this point, you would then need to select instead to reject their application. Once that's been rejected, then the individual will have to go in and amend their application to be able to do before it processes off the background check. Now, the key part for this one is we only ask that an application is brought up to off for background checks. So as soon as someone has verified the ID and processed it off and paid for their application, then we are happy for the fact that it's out of control of the individual, out of control of the club, and we're happy for that individual to continue on until we get the DBS that comes back. And the reason being is they previously had a DBS with us. So any coach that's been enrolled and renewing a DBS, we're happy for it to be off for background checks without a suspension being applied. For anybody else, if you're putting a new coach into the role, they must already have a completed DBS with the FA and Safeguarding Children before they're added to role. So a DBS that's been accepted and completed through the FA and Safeguarding Children qualification before adding to role. Now, when you go onto Club Portal, it will show you a number of stages for a DBS application. So when it says application initiated, this means that a link has been sent to the official, but they have not completed their application. So they've received that email to their email address successfully for the one that's registered on Club Portal, and they have not yet clicked into it. So we can tell that because we know that the link has not been made active. Once they click into the link and start completing their application, it will then say awaiting verification. Now, if self-verification has failed, this is the part where it will alert you on Club Portal, but also a separate email from KYP to say that self-verification has failed. So if it does say ID awaiting verification, it means that they will need to bring their ID to you as club officials to have their ID verified. If it's awaiting payment, it means that it's for some reason that the club is set up as club to pay and not applicant to pay. So you as the welfare officer or any club official that you've got can sign into KYP and look at your task to be able to see if there's any payment to be outstanding and then make the payment manually. Or you can ask the individual to go on to their application and make the payment as well. At the stage where it says awaiting countersign, this means that it's done the first initial checks, background checks by First Advantage and Know Your People to ensure that the application that's being submitted initially matches up with the ID that's being provided. When it says in progress, this is totally out of everybody's hands and it's off for background checks with the police. Now, this varies on how fast. We get asked all the time in terms of how long it takes for a DBS in order for it to come back. And it depends on the individual. So it depends on when they've last had the check done, if they've moved around, lots of addresses, if they've got content on the DBS. A DBS can come back as fast as 48 hours in order to show on someone's DBS as completed, but it can take up to 60 days in order for a DBS to come back if there's anything else that's on there that's adding a little bit of time, or if that particular police force is going through an influx of DBS applications and they are struggling to process them. There is nothing that First Advantage can do, KYP can do, or the FA can do in order to speed up a DBS that is off for background checks and in progress. It is in the hands of the police. We're not able to make that process any faster. It's out of control of everyone that we've got. And then it will also say complete. So a DBS has been issued to the official and now it should show on Club Portal as complete. So you should then have a little green marker to say that the DBS is in there with a new expiry date. Now, if you've initiated a DBS and no emails being received from the individual, then ultimately we need to do a few little things in order to get that DBS active again. So when you start a DBS, what you will see in Club Portal is that a new DBS application, the applicant has been sent an email to start their DBS process. If it shows this and shows application initiated, this basically means that the email has been sent successfully to the email that's listed on Club Portal, and the individual should have it in their email account. So they must check either spam or anything that they've got for an email from Know Your People, and that link is in there. Now, the link that is sent from Club Portal to the official is only active for 7 days, and it must be used within that timescale in order to activate the link itself. It will deactivate after 7 days. If the individual, though, wants to restart that DBS, they can use the same link, and they can either do that by logging onto my account in the FA and reinitiating it themselves, or if they click on the link that's in the email and select forgotten password, it'll allow them to re-enter their email address and start the application from KYP. So they've got a number of different ways that they should be able to start their DBS application. Now, if for some reason they've not received that email at all, that is telling us that there's something wrong with the email address that's listed in Club Portal. It's essential at this time that you go back to the individual and make sure that their email is correct. If their email is not correct, they need to click into my account at thefa.com and change their email address in there before you initiate a new one. Now, the DBS shows as withdrawn, so this tends to be if someone has started an application and it's gone to an old email account. Now, if it's gone to an old email account and it's already been sent off, then there's nothing that we can do in order to start that DBS again because the system believes that it's actually gone through. It will then show inactive after 7 days with withdrawn. Now, in order to get that DBS up and running again, they would need to change their email address in my account at thefa.com, but then you can raise a ticket and the club can raise a ticket, or the applicant can, to Grassroots Technology at the FA support tickets, and they will be able to reissue another link on their club portal in order for them to start their DBS applications. That's only if it does say DBS withdrawn. But again, the individual needs to make sure that the email address in FA Club Portal is correct. Now, we do have a number of useful links and contact details in order for you to reach out to. So the email notifications for expiring qualifications go out from the non-compliance support team from us. So it comes from support@safeguardingsupport.freshdesk.com. We also have First Advantage email address. So this is for anyone at First Advantage and Know Your People to be able to answer any queries that you've got over email. To add or remove a new club verifier, if you've got any queries about removing an old verifier off the system, then we send it to this email address here. Or to add them, again, just simply add them on Club Portal. Super helpful is First Advantage microsite, and it has a live chat support function. So this microsite has all the videos on which you'll be able to hear by yourselves at that point in order for you to do any DBS applications, but they have the live chat function so you can speak to an individual once the DBS application is with KYP. So they'll be able to answer any queries that you've got in terms of why a DBS you might be struggling to upload ID or struggling to verify ID, or if you've got any technical glitches on KYP itself. To change any of your personal details, you do that through myaccount@thefa.com. And then if you want to submit a ticket, if you're getting any technical difficulties in relation to moving off an old email address, restarting a new one, then you can do that through our grassroots technology at the FA to be able to support you on that one. Now, at this point, I'm going to see if anyone would like to ask any questions that you've got or any thoughts that you may have in terms of any DBS questions or safeguarding children questions. You might have to come off mute at this point.
Gemma, we've got quite a few questions in the chat, so do you want me to just read them out? Would that
Go for
help?
it, yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Right. Stop yourself in because we've got a few. Okay. Can a welfare officer not get a notification of the coach not responding earlier than 2 weeks before the suspension?
So no. The feedback that we've had, so doing this for 4 years, then no, we overwhelm customers with the interaction for club welfare officers, and we're very aware that we have some clubs that are quite large with quite a lot of individuals expiring, so they are overwhelmed by the volumes of notification coming out. So the emails from us will only come out to the welfare officer 2 weeks prior to expiry. However, on FA Club Portal, at all times of the year, you have access to be able to see any qualifications for all your individuals. So by going onto your FA Club Portal, selecting officials, then selecting your safeguarding tab at the top, it will list all coaches that are listed against the teams, and it will tell you the qualifications that are expiring. So it highlights it at the side to say when someone is expiring. So just from experience in terms of notifying you before 2 weeks to expiry, it's a lot of work on you guys, and the emails go out to the individuals because it's their responsibility to be able to complete it.
Okay, thank you. Ria said, so they receive emails from you, but do we need to start the DBS? I think that's sort of been covered, I guess, already, really. Yeah. Tara, yeah, we'll send the slides and we'll send the recording, don't panic. What happens if the coach needs to send his DBS to the FA as there is something on it? Are the club informed of this?
No, so for GDPR reasons, what you will see, so generally when a coach has got information, they would need to, so they've got content, they'll be contacted directly. So your view will be on Club Portal that the DBS is still saying in progress. Now, at this point, that's not for anyone to know apart from the individual and the information for the FA to review, so no one to make a judgment. So you'll see it say in progress on FA systems, and you will get an email that if we've decided not to accept the DBS after reviewing the content, the club will then get an email to say that this individual isn't successful and they wouldn't be able to be enrolled. So you wait for that notification. However, until then the individual will just send the email off, they'll get it reviewed. Once they've received the actual certificate, it takes a process of about 48 hours in order for First Advantage to review to see if it's acceptable or not. Someone gets up to 6 weeks to be able to send that off. But no, until the time of suspension or we're not happy to accept the individual's information, we won't alert you to the fact that they've got content on there or what we will be doing next.
Okay, thank you. So someone said, which I think we've sort of alluded to this, who can I contact regarding someone who's completed their DBS check, received the certificate, but it's not updated on the club portal? I would say if they send the certificate over, can we help with that? Or if I'll send out the email addresses again so that they can forward that on.
Yeah, so if they've got a certificate that's not pulling through on Club Portal, so it tends to be that the individual, once they've started the DBS application, they've changed the email address in Know Your People, which means that it doesn't pull through onto our systems. Or it could be the fact that they've used the old system and it doesn't pull through onto the new system because we're on a new platform. If they send a picture through front and back, then we can get it uploaded with the IT department in order for it to be attached to their fan number.
Okay.
Sorry, just to update on that, is that not the case when additional verification is requested where it needs to be sent off to Nottingham as well? Because
No.
that's how we've received it, stays in progress, even though the individual receives a certificate, then they receive a separate email to say, please send now your certificate off to the Nottingham to be verified or checked as an additional check.
So that's two separate things. So if you've got a DBS that's just not pulling through, but it's a clear DBS, then it might be that was just a technical difficulty. The DBS that you're referring to there is where someone's got content. So when someone's got content, it will upload to Know Your People automatically once it's accepted by the FA. What we're asking them to do is when they send in that certificate, so we as the FA, you guys, no one on KYP, when we ask someone to send a certificate in that's got content, it's because we can't see what the content is. When the FA requests that certificate, it's because we need to see what the content is. And for GDPR reasons, that email only goes to the individual to send off the actual certificate to them to review. So at no point do we see what the content is until that individual sends their printed certificate to the FA. They choose not to send it to the FA, then we will automatically add a suspension on because we don't know the risk to football. So that's why we ask for the printed copy, the printed version of the DBS original to be sent off to the FA.
Sorry, Vicky, can I ask a question here at this then? Gemma, when that happens, though, as in they're suspended, are we informed at club welfare secretary level? Because we have experience, and my welfare officer is also on the course, whereby we have still seen in progress, it's sat there for quite a while. So we've then gone to the individual to say, we're showing you as in progress, have you received your certificate? And they go, yes. And we go, is everything okay? And then you get a, well, I think I've got to send it off. So we're sort of in limbo really at our level when we're trying to safeguard the children. So it's almost like we need I get the GDPR, but it's almost like we need something tagged to us to say where we are, because in progress, to me, it could be that they've had their certificate, they don't want to admit they've got to send it off, or they say they haven't got to do it, or it is truly in progress, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so generally, again, I'll say for GDPR reasons or legal reasons, 99% of certificates that are sent off when they've got content are accepted by the FA, and that's because the deemed as not a risk to football. So we can't then alert anyone, because it could be something potentially that someone's done years and years ago, but someone's automatic reaction just from experience of alerting a club to the fact that someone's got content is slightly embarrassing. So if we've got an individual that's been enrolled before, the chances are that they've had content on their certificate. So they've been enrolled for 5-6 years, which means that they've had a DBS that's been accepted by the FA before. At this point, we're really happy with the fact that we've seen a DBS in the past with content, and we just want to make sure that content's not changed. But initially we accepted the first one after seeing it. So we're fairly happy with the fact that we will stick it in progress for now and let the coach continue. For a brand new the coach, unless it's completed and accepted by the FA, they can't go into role, is a risk in terms of a risk to our business, a risk in terms of children. For any coach that has a pending certificate, because they've got content, for the individual, the best thing is that it says in progress until they send that certificate off. They get 6 weeks from the DBS is actually completed and being sent the certificate to then send the certificate off. At 6 weeks, if that time's lapsed, then they will get an automatic suspension that's on there. But we can't put for the fact that it's in progress, that it's got content on there.
Gemma, can I just ask you a quick question? I've had one of our managers do a DBS. He's never received the certificate, but the FA are asking for the certificate. Now, he doesn't know what to do. We can't cancel to issue a new one. Now, he's stuck, and they've sent him a couple of emails. He's emailed them back at Nottingham to say, I haven't had the certificate. And the FA is still saying, we want the original certificate. So where do we go with it from there?
Okay, so we have this all the time. Believe it or not, when we ask to see a certificate when it's got content, the first thing this person will do is say that they've not received the certificate. So if they've not received the certificate, that's issued centrally by the Liverpool DBS department. Now, if he's saying he's not received it in the post, he's got up to 3 months to be able to request a reprint of the certificate and be sent out to the address that they have noted in their own application. So if he's saying he's definitely not received it, I can send you the email address for him to contact, and he needs to contact them directly, needs to contact the DBS department, government department directly. They'll issue a reprint. If they won't issue a reprint, it's because they're confident the certificate is being sent out to the applicant's address, and at that point we'd have to clear it down and redo a new DBS application. But at that point we would say that that person can't be enrolled until we know that a DBS has come back and been reviewed, because there's some sort of content that needs to happen, but there's a reason why we're not being able to send it off. So a reprint it can ask for, that's with the government DBS department directly. I can give you the email address for him to contact in order to send that through.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's brilliant. Cheers.
No worries. Vicky, you go through whoever you want to.
Shall I carry on with the ones that we've got listed as the questions? Someone said, following notification, you still need to complete your Safeguarding Children course before November 25. However, my Safeguarding Children cert is valid until July 26. So should I ignore this?
No, so if you can send it through to our support email address and we'll see what it's pulling. It may be that there might be a duplicate fan pulling from somewhere. So we just need to make sure that you might have 2 certificate dates, and we just need to make sure it's merged as one. So don't just ignore it, just in case we would issue a suspension, it's coming from somewhere. If you put it to our support desk email, then we can have a look and see if there's any merged fans, and then make sure that the qualification for some IT reasons might not be pulling through.
Thank you. And then I've got 2 people with their hands up. Joanne, do you want to go first?
Hi, yeah. I haven't been receiving any emails at all for DBSs, and I know our club, there's quite a few people that need them, but I haven't been copied into any emails. And I also haven't had a login for the First Advantage, so I don't know how to access that either. And our club chairman is the person that's having difficulty getting his DBS. I think his fan's been cloned, so there's somebody else affiliated with that number. That's what he said. There's 2 people with the same name, and there's been an issue with it. Will our team get suspended if our chairman hasn't got a DBS?
No, so the minimum requirements are the chairman doesn't need a DBS, but if he is attached to any team where he's actively coaching, he would need a DBS. It's only you as the welfare officer that needs the DBS in an official role, as in key officials, but it's only anyone that's attached to directly in contact with children, coaching on a regular basis, that need a DBS. For that one, Joanne, I think we're going to have a look at your setup on Club Portal, because for me that's telling me that possibly we've not got you listed right on Club Portal, why you might not be getting any notifications or your KYP entry. So drop me an email, send your details to Vicky, and then I'll get in contact with you. I'll look on Club Portal and let's get you set up.
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Joanne.
Thank you. Steph, do you want to go now?
Oh yeah, sorry, I've not got the camera on because I'm in the car. A couple of things. So the same as Joe's just mentioned, I'm not getting anything on my task list at all. I'm a league welfare officer rather than a club welfare officer. Historically, when I first had it, I was getting absolutely loads. Now I'm getting nothing at all. Is that likely to be accurate or inaccurate? We do the StatFA verification rather than the club verification.
Yeah, so let me just to clarify that, Steph. So you're a league verifier, yeah?
Yeah.
And then when we're talking about not seeing anything on your task or email, that's in relation to KYP.
Yeah.
No, right, fab, that's fine. So what I'll just need to do is I'll just need to see you set up on KYP to make sure that you have everyone underneath you that has notifications. So it's really important for us. So I think initially when they've been playing around with it, it's a new system that we've gone on to. So I think we'll just double check that you've basically got all your clubs listed, so you've got access to be able to verify anyone. I'll just need to check your access. So again,
Right,
Steph,
okay.
if you could, again to Vicky, send your email to Vicky, I'll go on to KYP and I'll just have a look at what your access level is. And then just Vicky will tell me who you need to be able to see and when, and then I'll just get you to test it for me.
Right, okay. The other thing, so we as a league, we actively contact all of our coaches that are due to expire, whether it be DBS or safeguarding, whichever it is. We're getting a lot of them coming back saying they're having absolutely no contact prior to us contacting them to say that things were expiring. You've just mentioned that if they've had a previous DBS and it's sitting in progress, that they can continue to coach. That's something that we historically have actively stopped. So once the DBS has expired, if they've not got DBSs, we've said you can't be coaching. How long do we leave that now for it to be in progress? Obviously, if we can just see it's in progress, how long do we let that go for?
FA regulation FA regulation always says that a existing coach in an existing role who's applying for a renewed DBS, we accept it in progress. Now, for those that don't have content, then it tends to come back within about 4 weeks. So we wouldn't, as in like the FA regulation, they wouldn't support a suspension or stopping a coach from existingly while he's in progress doing a DBS until we actually issue a suspension. If a league wants to go ahead and make that decision instead, then that's absolutely fine. You just need to make sure it's in your league rules and regulations. But ultimately, a DBS should come back within a normal DBS within 4 weeks, and it's a renewal. So we're happy that previously within the last 3 years we've seen a clear DBS or a DBS that's been accepted by the FA. So we're confident enough to go ahead with that coach for that time being. And we're talking about past expiry, we're going up to a maximum of 6 weeks.
Right. So if they've gone past six weeks past expiry, there's nothing in progress, we then can stop it. If it's in progress, we leave it 4 weeks from the date of it starting, and then we query. Right, okay. And finally, so there was an issue a couple of weeks ago where a number of the coaches from teams within our league received emails to say that their DBS or safeguarding had expired and therefore a suspension was issued. So this was on a Thursday night before a Saturday morning game, which obviously caused absolute uproar because these coaches had absolutely nothing before. They're all contacting us. It's clearly nothing to do with us. It's come from higher up. Why is the team suspended rather than just the coach?
Because we have coaches that still continue in role when they don't have the qualifications, and hand in hand, generally the people who have not got so the safeguarding culture is not embedded, so the team suspended to ensure that the coaches that are taking that team are definitely qualified and approved by the FA to be able to stood at the side of that that game. Now, we have it on a number of bases from experience where if we just suspend the individual, they are still there on match day. They are still there taking the team, and the person that's listed on club portal is not the person that's active and responsible for those children. Minimum expectation for a parent is that you would have a safeguarding qualification so that you know what in order to act if anything was to happen, and a DBS. So we know, and I suppose from Ewell as like a club, a league point of view, is that we do still have individuals that are at the side of the pitch that are not approved by the FA. They're not even listed on club portal. The way that we ensure, and it's the only way that we can ensure because we don't have numbers on the ground, is that actually if we can see non-compliance, we're not suspending the individual. We have to make sure we suspend the team so that the right people who are listed on club portal are the ones that are taking the children. And it also tends to be that where we get non-compliance or safeguarding non-compliance, particularly with the course, is that's where the bad practice seems to come from. So there's a lot of analytics that go in the past where we have a look at people who have expired on the safeguarding quals and actually go hand in hand with who's being reported for poor practice at the side of the pitch.
Yeah, okay, so I get all that. We as a league expect, and it's in Scory, that each team has 2 coaches that have got all qualifications in date. So if you then go and suspend that team, but they've actually still got an active person with the qualifications, but the team suspended, as a league, we then obviously have to deal with the fallout of that, which I'll be perfectly honest, if they have got somebody on the portal linked to the team with the qualifications in date that's been there pre the other person's qualifications expiries, they haven't just been added as a last minute to try and cover the team. For us, it's we believe that actually that team should be able to play because it's the children that are being stopped from playing. There is a qualified person there and actively taking part in the running of the team. And the notice that we were given, like I say, it was a Thursday. To suspend our fixtures then for a Saturday morning generates significant extra work for us as a league. So why can that second person that's not listed on that team on the portal take that team on that day, and that person that isn't obviously qualified be suspended? And
so
we obviously have to deal with the fallout, so I need to be absolutely 100% on this.
Absolutely fine. So in terms of when we reach out to someone, so we've obviously chased them 3 months out all the way up to exceeding 21 days. The club have been given an action. The team have been given an action in order to remove the individual. So the club get notification from expiry day 15 to 21 where it goes to the club welfare officer and individual, where they get 2 options that they can either, to ensure that a team suspension is not applied, either remove the individual from club portal and against team listing and replace with a second individual that is supporting the team that has in-date qualifications, or get the individual to complete their DBS or safeguarding children qualification. The club, 2 minutes, Steph, the club and the individual have chosen not to do that. So at that point, when we issue a suspension, then it's then saying that they don't. It's not a high importance. Now we hand over to the county on a Monday. So we hand over anyone that's due to be suspended on a Monday. The county then, it's up to them then to the county in order to correspond to the leagues to suspend as from the Monday, Tuesday, in order for them to suspend for that weekend's fixture, or if they get someone in compliance. So if you decide not to, if you go against the county's instructions to suspend the team, then that's something that the county can look into instead, because it's against FA regulation.
Right, so you're saying that even if they've got a qualified person on that team, attached to that team, and has been historically, you're still suspending that team? I just need to know this because we will push it back to you guys, because we obviously, if we're getting the fallout, we will just push it back and say, this is nothing to do with us. This is from the powers that be.
Your minimum expectations are for all coaches that are in regular activity with children must have the 2 qualifications.
I get that.
And at that point, they don't.
Yeah, I get all that, and I'm like, well, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with you. What I'm saying is, we will we obviously deal with the fallout because we are the first point of call for these people. When they get these emails, they get these suspensions, it's us that gets the calls, us that gets the emails. Just finally, so you've just mentioned about the emails being sent with regards to expiration of qualifications. I have just renewed my safeguarding. I got absolutely no contact at all from anybody to say that my safeguarding was due to expire. I knew it was, and therefore I've actively renewed that prior to it expiring. I'm aware that on match day or on my login, I have had to go in there now since that's happened and turn on notifications. So is that something that everybody needs to do? Because like I say, I've had absolutely nothing to say my safeguarding was expiring, whether it be from County FA, whether it be from yourselves. I've had zero contact at all.
But
so I've now gone on and turned on
Steph, your role is a league official?
Yeah.
Yeah, your league official role does not come under the qualifications for to reach out. So in terms of qualifications to reach out is your club officials that are reached out to. So your club welfare officer. Sorry, Steph.
At the time I was down.
At
the time though I was down as a club welfare officer as well for Madeley White Star. So I was at the time I was down as a club and a league welfare officer. So I'm just pointing out that I had nothing, and there is a toggle on match day to turn on notifications for expiring qualifications, and I'm not sure if people are aware that that's there, and I don't know if that is impacting the people that are saying they're not receiving emails from yourselves. Is that something that's potentially impacting people because there is something there to turn on?
It's not usually, but we can have a look at that for you.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
Okay, last person we've got, Leanne.
I also don't have access to email for Know Your People. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm new to welfare officer just for this started this season. I've just come into it, so I'm all quite new to it. So
Leanne, I'm going to have to jump in. I don't know if anyone else. I can't hear what. Jem, can you hear what Leanne's saying? It's really muffled.
No, I'm just. I think, Leanne, you're saying that you don't have the link in order for Know Your People as the new verifier, the club welfare officer.
No, I don't have that.
Okay, that's fine. And are you listed on Club Portal?
Yeah, I'm club welfare officer. I come into it partway through last season, and then into the new season. I also don't receive no emails. My husband's chairman and coach for the team. Safeguarding was coming to an end, and I kept saying to him, "You've got to do blah blah blah." He also didn't receive no emails. Neither did I to say that they were expiring, even though I knew it was expiring. Just I don't know why that is.
Okay, so I think I can hear that you didn't receive the emails, but you didn't receive your KYP login either.
No, I haven't received anything. Obviously, I've got a parent who's coming in to help with coaching. He's done his DBS. He's done his upload of his verification, but it's asking for a face-to-face verification. He doesn't, obviously, for some reason, I haven't been accepted.
Sorry, Keith, I think your microphone's on, Keith. Do you want to just switch your microphone off? Just we can hear. Thank you. Sorry, Leanne. So you need to be able to gain access to KYP. That's what we're saying, don't we?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, the parent is coming in to use gain help with goalkeeping coaching. Obviously, we need to access to.
Okay. No worries. I think I can catch that. So you need to be able to verify someone. Let us see if we can see you set up and reissue you a new link from KYP. So if you just want to drop your email into this address, then I can have a look on your setup on your club portal.
Okay. There doesn't look like there's anyone else to ask any questions, and I'm conscious that we did say that it would just be the hour, so we're not taking away everyone's evening, including yours, Gemma. So one thing that I will say from our county's point of view, obviously we work closely with Gemma. For those of you that knew me from when I got my discipline hat on, you'll know that I am pretty straight talking. If we have to suspend teams, then I'm afraid we do. Whilst we will always try and work with the clubs, the teams, the leagues to make sure that children are playing, we are absolutely in support that if we have to suspend a team, we're not doing it lightly. We're doing it because there have been more, multiple reminders sent out to the club. That being said, we will work with you. So please don't be a stranger. Contact us if you need to. We've got no problem with that. If we can help, we will do. But we will certainly not put anybody in danger. I'm sure everyone feels exactly the same. So any action that we have to take, we don't do it lightly, but we do want to work with everybody. So with that in mind, I'm going to send out tomorrow the copy of this recording. There was a slide in there with all the contact details, so I will type that out and include that in the bulk of the email so that you've got that separately. If you've got any questions in the meantime, if you want to send them over, if I don't know the answer or John or George don't, then I'll be soon speaking to Gemma and we can get you the answer. I hope you found tonight helpful and it's answered some of the questions that you've got. Obviously, if there's any feedback that you want to give us, please feel free to send it over because we're always interested in getting feedback. We are certainly going to keep working with everybody as far as the team suspensions go. That's one thing I do want to reiterate. We want to suspend as few as possible. Ideally, no teams. We don't want to suspend anyone. We want kids to be playing football. So please let us work with you on that and we will try and make sure that every weekend everyone gets to enjoy their football. Yeah, but with that in mind, thanks everyone for attending. Gemma, really appreciate it. And everyone enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bye.